Perfect. Give us a couple of minutes and we'll call you. Are you coming here? There's a chair in here if you want to come chill. There'll be headphones for you there too when it's time. Good morning.
Good morning.
Coming up on today's show, Trump goes after tech giants. They're rioting in Minneapolis. We talk kayaking, all that and more coming up on today's Wade and Carter show.
Wow.
Remember the mics are on now.
Wow. Folks, that's just quality radio.
That's it. That's as far as it goes today.
I say we just
go from here.
Let's just call the show right now.
That sounds good. I'm good with that, actually. I should have been good with it about 5:30 when I woke up. How are you this morning?
I'm good. You know what I like about these headphones?
What's
like
that?
that last stuff that you were saying. Only the people on Facebook heard that.
Yeah.
I have no idea what you said.
No, I don't remember.
Now, I
what you
owe
said.
everybody an apology after the weather.
Okay.
72 degrees in Victoria, going to a high today of 91.
You jumped
There
the
you go.
gun.
It's Friday, and I jumped the gun. For those of you that see the different view, it's still a great view. It's on an iPhone XS, procured at the VCS company's AT&T store.
Only locally owned and authorized AT&T
Right.
retailer.
That's where I got the phone. That's why the video quality is still good. But you should be watching the show on the iPad that I also got at the AT&T store. But Dawn, the lovely and talented T-Lab, was sleeping so peacefully this morning that I didn't turn on any lights. And when I left, I had forgotten how responsible I was yesterday to go in and plug in the iPad and charge it. So when I left today, I was irresponsible and left said iPad.
Such a burden being so responsible.
Yes. Well, I'm so unaccustomed to be.
Oh, no. You got one of those issues again?
I'm so unaccustomed to being responsible that I went off and left it. Now, why is that? Is there a way to fix that on the phone? Because there's not a hold button.
Yeah, I don't know. Turn the camera?
I don't know. It was turned sideways before I turned it on. Folks, just don't even look at us. It's radio.
Bear with us today.
You're looking at us sideways. Most people don't look at us to see. No, it's the camera is sideways. It went sideways. It's not filming in panorama, if you will.
It's more of a sideways landscape.
Yeah, it's not.
And the other thing, that thing shoots the ceiling.
Which we actually look better.
Look better when that happens, but we'll plow,
Sheriff,
we'll plow
apologize.
through it. It's Friday.
It's my fault.
People will
thing
forget
is,
it by Monday.
I own it. I aired and I own it. I'm ready for the police department of Minneapolis to do the same. I guess they have.
They fired the
people.
4 cops. I don't think they've been arrested yet.
They
Which is
will be.
interesting because didn't they arrest a shop owner who shot somebody trying to loot his shop up there?
I have no problem with that. If you decide you want to protest, go walk in the streets. If you decide you want to protest, boycott a business. But when you start coming into my business as a private shop owner who had nothing to do with what happened to George Floyd, I'm going to shoot you. Of course, that's very Texas. Nobody listening to our broadcast right now in Texas
Probably has a problem with that.
is going, well, duh, of course we'd shoot you.
Iceman says he almost spilled his beer trying to watch our show this morning.
Right, that's nice. Ice. Well, when you deliver that much ice, sometimes you have to have a little toddy in the morning just to get going.
I'm trying to figure out to see where you got to lay on your right side just to see it right. So, but
I asked you before how many women you think are at home right now, laying on their side, watching us.
None.
I agree. Not even Dawn. She's up.
That's exactly it. They're up
She's
working.
getting ready to go to work. That's another thing about Victoria women. They work. Even the ones that are traditional in the home, many of them have at-home Cincy or whatever. They're doing something because it's expensive to live in Victoria. So we're going to get Ashley McGee in here in a minute.
So they
harass her about kayaks.
They torched the police station in Minneapolis.
Stupid. That hurts every taxpayer. And those people deserve to be shot.
I don't get. You would think I mean, how many years has rioting and looting been a response to transgressions like this and hasn't solved anything? You look back to probably the most influential protests that may have affected that did affect change.
That'd be,
Before I was born,
born,
Martin Luther King's peaceful
march.
protests.
Gandhi peacefully protested. Well, they call it nonviolent noncompliance.
But the rioting and the looting
That's
has
just
never,
greed.
ever.
Selfish greed's all that is. It's an excuse to steal. That's all it is. When you see a white woman walking out
of a Target store,
loaded down with bags of stolen goods, she ain't protesting nothing.
No,
she's
just opportunistic.
Yeah, she's shopping.
Yeah. But think about it. It's never
clean up on aisle 5. Boom.
Yeah. It's never, ever resulted in any positive change.
No, and what it does is it makes, for better or worse, well, really for worse, it leads into and feeds into the stereotype that those people loot. And because if you're honest about it, it's very rare that some white dude gets shot and a bunch of white people start looting. We may all go shopping and max out our credit card.
Well, because white people don't get shot by cops.
Good point. I mean, a legit point. So the stereotypes have to have asterisks by them that say, hey, this is, make a note, Whitey doesn't get choked to death in the street.
Now, my mom asked me that the other day. We were talking. She goes, do you think
we'll kill a Canadian?
If it was she asked me point blank. She said, if that was a white guy on the ground, would they have killed him? And I told her no.
No. And had they killed him, white Minneapolis would not have rioted. We're just very passive. Oh, it's just a white dude. He's dead. But black people have been dying at the hands of authority for so long. They're tired of it.
No, there's that.
They're tired of it.
But I look at the video and the news coverage, and it isn't just black people doing this. It's everybody.
Well, and those people are the ones, I mean, if I was a police officer, I'd say, shoot the white people. If I see people looting, because they don't have a dog in that fight, you can't be so aggrieved on someone else's behalf that you go and steal a television. Be grieved?
Makes no sense.
Be grieved. Tell us your revelation or something you saw about the police officer and Mr. George Floyd.
Allegedly, they had worked together at the same bar. George on the inside is a bouncer the new term now went from when I worked in, it's not Roadhouse anymore.
Concierge.
Security.
Right.
And he was off-duty police officer outside.
Interesting. So if it comes out that they actually had made each other's acquaintance, now you may be looking for motive. Like, why would he want to hold this guy down? Maybe that's why. Maybe there was a dispute at work. Maybe he had seen George work and he was afraid that if he let George up, although the guy was handcuffed, laying face down.
Yeah, he wasn't even moving. All he was trying to do was say, I can't breathe.
I can't
breathe. That's it. That's all that was going on in that video.
I wonder how long you could comfortably breathe if you just cuffed yourself behind your back and laid on your diaphragm. I'm not even talking about a knee on your throat. How long could you lay? It's essentially planking because you can't really relax.
Not with your hands behind your back like that, no.
I have to have the extension.
But the knee on the neck, cutting off the air supply.
Yeah. I mean, to me, I listened to Glenn Beck's show yesterday. I listened to Rush Limbaugh yesterday. And to a man, they said, I can think of Limbaugh had a law enforcement guy on who said, no. In fact, we're trained not to do that. It doesn't just happen. I was
listening to a former New York City police officer say yesterday that, went through all the training, and he said the first thing that the seasoned police officers told me when I went into the precinct on my first day, when they're cuffed and the struggle is over, it's over.
Right. You got to let it go.
You got to let it go. He said, doesn't matter what's going on. Doesn't matter if they spit in your face at that point. They're no longer resisting. It's done.
What's interesting is if
9 minutes that knee was on the neck, and then I listened to somebody else talk about that, and who's a MMA expert, and he said the thing that he took away from that was it was very deliberate and intentional, because if you look at the way his feet are, his right foot, all the pressure is on the knee, on the neck.
right.
He said his toes on the other foot are barely on the ground.
Yeah, he's just
Because all his weight and all his pressure is on that knee.
The thing that bothers me, or that I keep seeing, and I'm not, I'm not trying to over dramatize a bad situation, is the calm,
like you can in this
the
case.
guy's face. If you see the video, when you're watching the video, it's like he's not anything.
Got a hand in his pocket. I
Yeah.
mean, it's like he's fishing for his keys
It's
while he's
almost
at it.
as if he's saying, I am authority and I am in control of this situation. He just has a very calm demeanor. As people,
Almost a godlike
they're
complex.
screaming insults at him to let the man up. The man's not moving. The man can't breathe. You're killing him, and he's emotionless. He doesn't address the crowd in any way. I think he's just he snapped. I think just a soulless individual.
And you take this on the heels of the shooting of the motorist in the Minneapolis area a couple of years ago.
Of course, the mayor of Minneapolis blamed it on Donald Trump. He did. He came out and said, because the president said, I can send in the military when the looting starts, the shooting starts. And he didn't, it's one of the issues I have with the president. He doesn't always need to be witty and quippy and it's a super duper missile.
Yeah.
Come on, Donald.
Not everything's a soundbite.
But for him it is, and it's worked. But the mayor of Minneapolis said, we are not weak. Weakness is not admitting your faults. We've got problems in Minneapolis, but we're going to get through them. And then he stammered around and started talking about the pandemic, as if somehow the pandemic had something to do with George Floyd's death.
I would argue weakness is the fact that Minneapolis apparently hasn't fixed their problems with police and black people since the last time they had a shooting of a motorist who was unarmed.
Exactly. So,
I think that's one of the differences this time around, though. The outrage from the 99.9% of police officers that are good individuals and do a good job.
Well, we said there are 800,000 law enforcement officers in the United States.
They're tired of being painted by a brush, a broad brush, a brush that becomes so broad by the actions of so few.
That's right.
Is what I'm trying to say.
Which is where, and that knife cuts both ways. I mean, Chicago, well, that's just a hellhole. Well, Chicago's got 7 million people. It's not a bad city. There's just places you don't go, and there's places where they're killing each other. But you wonder as law enforcement if they're just getting tired of it. I don't know. I don't know why a guy would snap like that.
Or he did, to me, it doesn't look like he snapped. To me, it looks like that's just his personality. He does. I mean, that almost looked like he was going about everyday business.
Yeah, like he had a knee in the middle of the guy's back instead of the guy's throat.
Yeah.
Let's do this. Let's take a break. Yeah. Before we even take a break, tell me who all's on the show today.
Oh, it's Judge Posey checking in. I think he's the first one in today. Chris Conrad, good morning. Marvin Mickish.
Judge, you win. Nothing.
Lisa Poole, Patrick Strauss, BJ Nelson, Bobby Leister. Hey, we're back up to 61 YouTube subscribers. Thank you, Bobby.
Yay.
CW Bean, good morning. BJ Nelson, we are sideways.
Marvin McCush.
Christina Wise, the Iceman is in. Chris Conrad.
Bob Conrad's grandson.
Steve Kidder.
Baba Black Sheep.
Sheriff Louderback, Rob Pupey, Randy Langston. Lacey Merriman. Ryan Hopping. There's my beautiful wife Cheryl checking in.
Cheryl.
BJ Nelson says, can we have our side conversations today if we're sideways?
Yeah, everything we're saying today is a sidebar.
Yeah. Let's see, Larry Leahy, Paul Ebner, Adam Sugar. Ran into Adam yesterday. There's Adam Daughtry checking in. I think Adam's got a Cigars for Veterans deal coming up. We might need to get him in to talk a little bit about that. Lisa Poole. Jimmy Driscoll checking in from Houston. Jeremy Pena, Torm Bales.
Jeremy,
I don't know what happened there.
I'm with you. Hello, TB.
Chris Conrad does have a very legitimate question, though.
Tell me.
When did rioting become protesting?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's opportunism. I think people are like going, well, hey, man, let's go down there and see what happens. And then somebody throws in a couple of rocks and breaks out the windows. I saw they're riding in L.A.
Yeah.
And I saw a police car pull over to help somebody who was laying on the ground. And before the officer could get out, folks had surrounded the car. They were breaking out the windows. The cop just drove off. I mean, I don't blame him. They might have dragged him out and beat him to death. In that regard, our country's out of control. And some of that might be the in-your-face vitriolic leadership of President Trump. I mean, people get I don't have to take that from you. They get that attitude.
I wonder, because I think there were 2 nights maybe of peaceful protests in Minneapolis. It devolved into the rioting and the looting and Molotov cocktails. About the time you started hearing reports that Antifa was showing up in Minneapolis.
That's what makes you wonder is who comes in and stirs it up.
Yep.
If you detain those folks, I wonder what percentage wouldn't even be from Minneapolis. That's what's interesting. Did they come in on buses? I'm going to get me a Samsung.
Yeah, I don't know. That would be interesting. But that would be... You don't have enough police to even start.
No.
I mean, it's almost like a fire that's out of control. You just kind of got to let it burn itself out.
And I saw some pictures of a Target.
Unless you bring that.
And there was nothing in there. There was nothing. The floor was clean. People picked up everything.
Yeah. Randy Langston says this is an authoritarian issue. No concerns about social distancing during the protests in Minneapolis, though.
That could create a second wave in Minneapolis. What do you think?
It'd be interesting to see if it does.
Allen's Wrecker Service, 578-6300. That's the number you need to call when your car won't go. It's pretty simple. Whether you're an 18-wheeler in the ditch with a load, they can haul the whole shebang. If it falls over, they've got a 75-ton crane. They can set that trailer right back up. Off they go. VCS Companies, Rock and Roll Services, and the only locally owned AT&T retailer. That's our banner sponsor. We've already talked to you about them this morning. What a great job they do. All things communication, all things entertainment. Home stereo, home theater. Got my projector back.
Did you?
Haven't plugged it in yet. I'm afraid of it. I'm scared of it. But I got it back.
Don't be afraid of the technology.
I'm afraid of the technology. You come by. Come after the show. SCT Building Systems, Clayton and Casey.
You want me to plug it in for you? You don't want to do your own work?
Blame you. Another local, small, family-owned business. That's what we have great sponsorship by. 564-8864. Clayton and Casey will help you with your next building project. A she shed, a he shed.
Man cave.
Barn dominium, house, bricks and sticks, whatever you need. Concrete
they can do
form, they can do it. When you need furniture, there's only one place to go. Chestnut Furniture Company. 116 West One Land.
100-year birthday, 50% off all furniture.
70 years in their most new location. Bobby Leon, younger than that.
Much younger.
Bobby remembers moving over there as a wee lad.
Running around in diapers in that store when it opened.
Crazy. You still see the stains on the carpet. Come by and see Bobby Leon. His family will take care of yours. They say you just do better at Chestnut. We say Chestnut and love make your house a home.
I'm wondering if you move that there and flip it on its end, would the sidewaysness go away?
The sidewaysness.
Yeah.
Let me
it's Canadian speak for you.
Hang on. But now you can't see us.
Well,
I'm sure we'll be able to see you in a moment.
We'll see what happens. Oh, look at that. There we go. There we go.
It's not important to me to be on camera, you know. I mean, I did get up this morning and wash my hair, but I didn't shave my legs. So I've got that going on. You got the
you would need a
the camera is over me. No wonder you can't see me.
Got to make sure the feed was there.
I'll just stand here sideways.
There you go. You can stand sideways for once.
That. The content is still terrible, folks. So we've got that going. What does it say right there? And ask O'Connor why he allowed 20 people to shoot at my house. Like,
Me and my kids for a couple of years and didn't want to mess with his buddies or the little.
Randy, you sound
Pulled
bitter.
his gun on him
I don't know what you're talking about.
for answering his door a couple of months ago. You just don't know. You're right. We don't know.
We don't know. Is it the police state of T. Michael O? I don't think so.
Adam Dodger
But
says
I like Randy, so we'll figure it out.
Adam Dodger says it's been like that since the civil rights movement. There's never just been peaceful protests. But I disagree. The civil rights movement had a lot of peaceful protests.
Yeah, it was a different era. It was an era of protest when people, quote unquote, knew their place. Now that we think of everybody as being on a level playing field, even though we're obviously wrong at times that everybody's not on a level playing field, we feel like, well, they're just being crazy. But back then, people were somewhat scared to act out because you'd get shot with a water cannon or rubber bullets or bean bags or real bullets.
Randy Langston says they killed a man who happens to be black. They were crooked cops. I
agree with that 100%.
Yep. No, yep.
That's right. Those officers those men killed a man. Start there. Was it racially motivated? We don't know.
We don't know. We might never know. It could have been a power trip. Could have been. I mean,
we don't know what happened before. We don't know why. I don't know if those 4 officers stormed that store and arrested him for forgery. I don't know what the
alleged forgery. Interesting though. Amy Klobuchar apparently had, and
there's not one.
10 to 12 complaints against this cop over his 19-year career. That's about 1 a year on average-ish, roughly. I don't know if that's. No, I think.
So women's down there?
Yours might be down that way.
Be careful.
I don't know if one complaint a year is a lot against a police officer. I would think it would be.
That officer that complains?
10 over the course of his 19-year career.
It's so easy to complain about, but there's no reason to defend that guy. But
easy to complain. But my point is, a report I saw last night, then Hennepin County prosecutor Amy Klobuchar, who became Minnesota State Senator and is very much in the running and rumored to be under strong consideration to be Joe Biden's running mate as vice president, apparently never did anything to act against any of the complaints that warranted grand jury involvement and taken to the prosecution to that level. Some were dismissed. They never got out of the grand jury. But apparently she washed her hands of them and did the old, well, it's police, we're not talking about it.
Christina Wise said she had heard there may be protesting in Austin tomorrow. I'm just telling you. I'm telling you that if people start looting in Austin, Texas, you're going to hear about people being shot. If it takes you 3 days to become so outraged that you decide to protest and loot and riot, you deserve to be shot.
It's one thing to organize a peaceful protest, as that takes some time. You got to get the permits.
Right.
You got to set a date. Can everybody make it that we need here?
Who's bringing the cookies? Yeah. We're going to protest.
But you're right. If it takes you 3 days to organize a looting and a riot and a burning of downtown Austin, it's no longer about sending a message or standing in solidarity. It's about lawlessness.
Here's this Tammy Darlene again. Happy Friday, Ash.
Can't help people.
Can somebody just give me a happy Friday, Brent? Maybe even go a little bit more belligerent. Happy Friday, everybody but Ash. Be like, like they are with President Trump. Anybody but Trump. Anybody but Ash. Happy Friday, everybody except Ash.
Oh, I didn't know it would be.
It hurts. I'm outraged. I'm going to get a new TV.
Tom Price, good morning.
Couple of comments.
Sitka says the sound is breaking up.
Don't be picky on a Friday.
Don't be picky on a Friday.
One thing about Victoria, Texas, that's worth noting. No, I don't want to hug him. He's divisive.
We're not hugging it out. Plus, that would be not social distancing.
big thank you again to Jesus Garza for coming in yesterday, and know that Jesus has agreed to do maybe a quarterly appearance, which would be great. It'd be great to be able to share some time with him, our city manager, on a fairly regular basis, just to know what's going on in the city, update on some projects. So number one, Victoria is very fortunate, blessed, and I think a good voting public to hold leadership accountable. Our leaders are very accessible. You can look at our show, everybody from Congressman Michael Cloud all the way down to
we've had
candidates.
Candidates. We've had Jeff Bognight. Ricky De La Garza has been on the show.
Sure.
So
yeah,
we've had our school superintendents on the show.
We've had school board people on the show. Dr. De Los Santos came on the show. Those folks are very accessible. They're very accountable, and we're very blessed with that. The other thing we've been very fortunate in Victoria is, by and large, our people are going to work and they're not rioting and looting and doing stupid things. And I'm very proud of our overall community for that.
Yeah.
So,
but I don't, maybe this is the tipping point. Finally.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been a lot of, I don't want to say arguments, but there's, you get into some of the shootings that have happened, and, you hear the arguments, well, we weren't sure that that he didn't have a gun and all this other stuff. A lot of excuses get made. There's no excuse for what happened in Minneapolis to George Floyd. None at all.
No.
And it's unfortunate. And here's the other thing that's unfortunate. You've got George Floyd's family members, his brother, his estranged or ex-wife, saying this is absolutely the last reaction to the violence that George would have wanted. Yeah. And this is how much these people don't care about George Floyd and his legacy.
Correct.
They're not even listening to the fact that the people that knew him best are asking you to stand down and stop the rioting, stop the looting. They don't care.
Maybe they need Sylvester Turner up there from Houston. Remember when the pandemic started out, he said, can you criminals just kind of put a timeout on that for a little while? We're kind of busy.
Kind of worked.
It did.
Look, you're getting Happy Friday, Brent.
Thank you, Steve Kidder. Thank you, my friend. Thank you, Cheryl. Cheryl, you know what it's like when Ash gets all the attention. It's just thank you, Karen Webb. Thank you, Jamie Zeller.
Thank you, Larry, for not discriminating against me and just putting out a Happy Friday.
He's Canadian, folks.
He's not. He's a rugby buddy.
No, you. Have a great day, Brent. Thank you, Rena.
There's Teresa Crump checking in. Clifford ain't up this early.
Clifford ain't up. So let's bring our guest. Yeah. Let's take a quick break.
Okay.
Quick break to tell you about Veracruz. It's today or Monday.
That's it.
You can do it tomorrow.
Can do it Sunday.
Or Sunday. Veracruz to go. Curbside, pay for it in advance, drive up. Sounds like a bunch of little sound bites. Drive up, pay for it in advance, food to go, enchilada casserole, crispy tacos, the best queso guacamole. The flour tortillas are amazing. Does this shirt make me look fat? Reach out to Veracruz. You'll be so glad you did. Thank you, Lacey Merriman. Hey, Brent. See how that feels? Thank you, Tammy Darling.
Water off a duck's back.
Take that, Tammy Darling.
BJ Nelson said, did you say estranged ex-wife? No, I said estranged or ex. I wasn't sure which it was.
I mean, you would hope that an ex-wife would be estranged. Oh, no, we still live together. The sex was great. We just couldn't balance our checkbook. What is that? You see that happen. People get divorced, and then they go back to being married.
And then they get
I was just kidding. That deal about irreconcilable differences, that didn't matter.
We reconciled them.
We reconciled when you got that new job. Razor IT Solutions will help you understand what's going on with your laptop, your program, your Facebook presence, your brand. Reach out to JP Hull. What did Iceman say that was so funny?
Said it isn't the shirt, Brent.
Wow. Justin's right, though. And sometimes you just get a little fleshy. I'm 57 years old. What do you want from me? A decathlon?
You're being hard on yourself this morning. I didn't say a word. You're your own worst critic this morning.
You wanted a decathlon?
Not feeling the love, to fat shaming yourself.
Right. There's Commissioner Ives. He's very long and spindly. He's wiry.
Oh, now you're thin shaming others.
Yeah. The man needs to eat. No, I come out of my house one day and Clint Ives is in my driveway. This is a true story. And he's got the yellow wrapper. So that he put cheese on that Whataburger, right? And I look over and I've got some nice little turquoise or kind of teal colored potted plants over by the garage.
Yeah.
And he's like taking stuff off his burger and throwing it in my planter. I hate to admit it, but that plant has thrived with that Ives, compost. It turned into a compost pile.
Nothing amazing what happens.
Little onions are growing. Razor IT Solutions.
As long as meat patties don't start growing.
Reach out to JP. It's an impossible burger. Reach out to JP and let him solve all your problems. Just do it. You hear us say it every day. You know what to do. Reach out to JP. Adds and Offer Dealership since 1926. Victoria's dealer. Chevy, Cadillac, Mazda, Mitsubishi. All the used vehicles are there. The gently pre-owned. The rest get sent off to auction.
Bodywork, shop,
Service.
They can do it all.
They do it all. White Trash Services.
Speaking of doing it all,
Wow. Roll-off dumpsters, weekly service, fat kids, sissy kids, kids that climbing rocks. They don't care.
No.
They got it all.
they can handle all your trash collection needs, all your refuse.
Even kids with chicken pox need dumpsters. White Trash Dumpsters. 550-1820.
Put all the chicken pox kids into the dumpsters with the top up, of course.
And they'll all
Let
get
them
herd
have-
immunity.
Yep, exactly.
If you want to have a COVID party, get everybody into a white trash dumpster. Right? There's immunity in
I'm
herd.
not sure quite works that way for that one.
I don't know. Well, if you're sick, just stay in the dumpster. It's over.
That right there shows you how effective the chickenpox vaccine was, because we all got it as kids,
Sure.
even though we got the vaccine, right?
Is that the one that made you itch? Had all the blisters all over you?
Yeah. Like falling in a bed event, a fire
Do
ants.
kids still get that little circle on their arm?
That was the smallpox one, wasn't it? I think. I don't know. That was a little bit before my time.
Jonas Salk.
Where's your circle?
I think it's on the shoulder up here.
Yeah, I think you're right. Left shoulder. I didn't get one.
It's right there.
Oh, Lord. You didn't just do that, did you?
Oh, Lord.
You work as a bouncer
Yeah.
back in the day?
I bounced off the walls.
Our guest has been sitting here patiently while
She is patient. At least she laughs at our jokes. That helps.
Somebody does.
We're very, very,
Yep, very blessed.
yeah. So you have to talk right into that microphone. Like, don't be afraid.
Yeah.
And
You can move it, yeah.
You can raise
Hold it up.
down, you have
It'll
to
be
hold it,
it'll go wherever you need to.
but like
almost
right
wherever.
into the end of it.
Yeah. Otherwise, we won't hear you, and that'll be a shame.
And this is
Because you probably got more stuff to talk about this
Yeah.
morning that's much more entertaining than anything we're bringing to the show this morning.
so. Our guest today is Ashley McGee, and turns out she's best buddies with Lacey Merriman, which used to be a Zeller. So the judge called and said, "You got to go easy on her. You got to go easy on her." Or I'll have to
So
send the
then
National Guard."
let me make this official then.
That was well done.
Welcome to the show.
Good morning. Hi, I'm Ashley McGee. I'm the owner of Flow Paddle Co.
Flo Paddle Co.
Yes, sir. And hi, Lacey.
There you go. You can say hi to anybody you want. If you've got
Oh,
people
hi,
listening,
everyone.
anybody you want, say something good about Ash.
Say hi to Ash. That would be good.
We love you even though you're Canadian.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, she gets on the show. The first thing she says is, "Hi, Ash." I'm like, "Hey,
Hi, Lacey.
over here." Great. Tell us what's going on.
She gets applause for that one.
Tell us about your business. Tell us about what's going on, and tell us about your.
Tell us about the
service.
name, because that's
Yeah.
pretty cool. Where'd you come up with that one?
Flow Paddle Co. Okay, it's my nephews and I got together. We went to go visit my niece for her wedding last August and in September, like Labor Day weekend. And we were talking about this business that I wanted to buy. And I already knew that it was on the forefront, but hadn't done it yet. And we were just talking about names, what all I wanted to do, because I didn't want to limit it just to kayaking. So I said, I want something that flows. And my nephew Eric was like Flow Paddle Co. And my nephew, I heard in the background, my little one said, and he goes, Flow Paddle Co. I like that. And so we went with it.
That's really cool.
That is cool.
So now you're talking about you obviously in my mind it may be too simple, but you bought the business from Jerry.
Yes.
So you bought Jerry Wyatt's
Fleet of kayaks.
fleet of kayaks.
Yes.
But you're not just kayaks.
No.
Yeah, what else tell me what else is going on?
Okay, so we started off with 21 kayaks. I bought 20 of them from Jerry's. He had already gotten rid of his canoes, so right now I'm looking to get more, but I'm gonna work with a rep to get uniform kayaks.
Okay.
So I'm working towards that. But until then, we're getting tubes because someone wrote an article last week. I'm not sure which radio station it was or Crossroads or.
She reached out to see if I knew who had done that. I don't listen to other people's shows.
Well, it was an article that was on Facebook, and it said like 7 or 10 things that the Victoria citizens want in Riverside Park.
Right.
And so, of course, I was like, what do y'all want? Because I wouldn't be the person that supplies that. And on there was tubes. So immediately got in touch with Discount Tire, talked to a friend, he ordered me some tubes. We're going to see how that works out. I haven't tubed down that portion yet, so before I put other people on the water, I'm gonna make
You're
sure
going to have
it's-
to make sure
yes, it's safe.
alligator gars aren't nibbling at you, things like that,
Right,
right?
exactly. You know, we'll see if I lose a limb. If not, then I'll put people
Right.
on.
Now, when you tube, of course, we all are familiar with tubing, say like on the Frio River, the Guadalupe would be much easier.
Right,
I mean, this
crystal
is-
clear water is different from our muddy, murky water.
Yes.
Right. But
Which people are afraid of.
the Guadalupe is an easier place to traverse or get around in because you don't have the big rocks sticking up.
That's true. I climbed through the sticks the other day and I accidentally went on a tube ride because the water was a little too high, and it took us for about 30 minutes. And I was in a sleep chair and then climbed out the woods. And yeah, you don't want
Nice.
to do that.
Yeah.
So if you miss the exit,
Yeah.
you could be in Bloomington before it's all said and done.
We went for an adventure.
It would not be a good place to get up. Swatowski says I'm sour today. No, it's just a bit. You know, we're happy. Ash and I have so much fun doing this show that we would do it if nobody listened, which is kind of how it was the first
Yeah.
year. You know, now
White shirts make everyone look bigger. And
Oh.
I don't see anything wrong. Y'all look great.
And the camera adds 20 pounds. So,
I'll turn sours.
and you can't speak if you're sucking it in.
It's not that bad. It's okay. I
That
look
old,
kind of like Phil Mickelson. I don't
that
know
old
if
Siren Live skit. Gain 10 pounds, lose 10 pounds. Gain 10 pounds, lose 10
that's
pounds.
right.
Suck it in, suck it out. So-
Anyway,
Flow Paddle Co. Give us the logistics. What are the details? How do people get down to the river and enjoy what Riverside Park and the Guadalupe has to offer?
Okay,
yeah,
so-
because you're not where Jerry was.
No, I'm not. And I actually have big news for that, but I think we're releasing that on Monday. So
Mm.
Oh, we don't get the scoop, everybody?
No. Release that news today. That's part of the deal.
that's part of the
It's okay. In theory, hypothetically, what's going to be released on Monday?
Well, we hope to acquire a location that we've already painted the walls in. So right across the boat ramp at the old Parks and Rec building behind the Rose Garden. So
That makes perfect sense because people can get their tube and walk right down the boat ramp and get in the water.
Yes, and then we'll pick you up at the pump house and tow you back.
Now,
Nice.
do you have tubes that hold coolers?
I will have tubes. that-
Because some people like the tubes that you take the big zip ties and you put a bottom in them and then you can set a cooler in it.
We're only going to rent those because I have put my boys on a tube connected to my kayak before, and they've done that, and it's been fine. And like they've napped back there, but I'm going to make sure that every tube has a bottom, and
That makes
entire tubes. So
Yeah.
Good deal.
Cool. So, if somebody wanted to go kayaking this weekend or tubing, what do they have to do?
the river's too high.
River's too high.
Yes.
Oh, I forgot there is a flood warning.
Yes.
Isn't there?
Professionals only.
Right. So
Ashley will be out there with her boys.
Only those who surf the North Shore
Right.
in Hawaii can get on the Guadalupe this
Waves are
weekend.
breaking both ways, man.
They are expecting some minor flooding in Riverside Park this weekend, aren't they?
right. Okay. So where the people fish at the boat ramp currently, it's underwater. It's already coming up the road. Yeah, I mean, for the last couple days, I go down there every day and check it out, and it's definitely
Darn 3 inches of rain we got.
right.
Unbelievable.
But come Monday, we intend to be open, and yep, rain goes.
Come Monday, it'll be all right.
That's right.
Cool. So what are your hours of operation going to be in if you get the new location?
All right. So we will.
After she finishes painting.
Now the inside's done. They got to paint the outside now.
Sweat equity.
9 a.m. to 9 p.m. pretty much every day.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Cool. Nice.
We're ready for summer.
Now, is somebody gonna be there manning that location or because sometimes with Jerry, you'd call him and he'd meet you.
Right, there'll be someone there now because.
You, right?
So you can, but you can have it on a whim. You can say, you know what, it's a beautiful day. We're wearing shorts. Let's go tube. And you can just drive down to Riverside Park,
Yes,
go in right there by the old Little League fields up by the Rose Garden. And you're going to hopefully have some signage there. People can see where you're at.
yes, there is.
Bam, go down, get in the river. And then it makes perfect sense. Instead of having the location in the middle and having to drive everybody, you can just, and will you stage kayaks down by the river so that they're ready to go?
Well, we have them on the trailer, so we have a kayak trailer and we transport that down to the boat ramp.
Perfect.
And the, boats there, but for tubers, they'll just walk across the road and then down.
So give me like I'm sure you're gonna have specials and this and that. And so let's say that Ash and me or Ash and Dawn, or me and Dawn and Ash and Cheryl decide to go kayaking.
Mhm.
Well, give us like a roundabout. What's it gonna cost us? 2 couples, 2 kayaks, or
It's basically $25 per person right now.
that's a great deal. So you're not only for my $25, I get your kayak.
Mhm.
I get to go on roughly a 2-hour ride. I can stop at Pebble Beach. I can have all the fun I want. And then you'll pick me up down there by the pump house where I get out and bring me back to my car.
That is correct.
For $25, folks. So that's cheaper than going to a movie.
No
Because you
cheap-
pay $8 to get in and $37.50 at the concession,
And there's no parking fees.
right? Yet.
You're not adding on a cost to pick people up.
Wait till the city finds out.
Well, they're definitely involved. So-
Good.
Yeah.
Good, good.
And they've been great. They're so helpful. In fact,
Well-
after I leave here, I'm meeting with them and we'll do the press release and.
That's all. We had Jesus Garza in yesterday, and he's excited about the amenities. I think
And the
that a
future of
business
Riverside
like
Park.
yours can really spur not necessarily development of the park, but utilization of the park. People can go down. They can go down on a Saturday morning. They can kayak as a family, and then they can go over into the park and have lunch, or they can grill, or they can make a day of it. So
Riverside Park is busy, but it's still, to me, seeing other parks, it still seems underutilized.
I agree.
Even though I know there are people down there, it just does seem underutilized.
well, it's
For
a big
park
park.
it is a
too.
big park.
There's 400 acres down there.
Yeah. But I look at the stuff that goes on at Zulka Park and other large parks, and they just, I mean, and I hope it never gets to a point where it's so crowded and
Right.
you don't want to be there, but it just seems like there's a lot of space that doesn't get utilized as it should and could really drive a little more
Sure.
activity and get people moving in Victoria
I agree.
and from outside. And that's what's great. So why do you say, you know what? Kayaks. This is what I'm going to do.
I think we went with Jerry several times and had such a good time that I once told a friend of mine, Lamar, I said, I want to do this. I love kayaking. I want to do this job. And it's funny because I did. Like a few years later, I'm doing the job that I told her that I wanted to
That's
do.
awesome.
We love kayaking, the boys and I. And it was funny because I think that I started to realize every time we go, it was kind of like shared solitude. So you're in peaceful nature, enjoying it. But then also it was good family bonding time.
Yeah.
Playing around together and there's swimming on the boat and all those good times. It just
That's
one
awesome.
of our favorite things to do.
They say if you like what you're doing, you never work a day in your life, you know. Like if Ash and I go kayaking, somebody would come and stand on the shore and go, "Hi, Ash. I love your show. Hi, Ash. Happy Saturday, Ash." It'd be that Tammy Darlene person. Hi, Ash.
I'd say Brent's here.
Oh, have a good day, Ash. Unbelievable.
Hi, Trent.
Trent, Brant, Greg, Bill, Caleb. They call me Caleb sometimes. When's Caleb coming back? That'll be the next thing. When's Caleb going to guest host?
You're not the realtor.
No, you're right. I'm not the real guy either. Like it's the Wade and Shaw
Just a
show.
placeholder
Right.
until I find a permanent
That's
co-host.
how it started. So 7 days a week, 6 days a week. What are we doing?
We're doing 7 days a week right now. We're really trying to get back at it. And with COVID, we were planning on opening before spring break, and now it's been delayed until pretty much Mondays.
But that's awesome. I'm excited for you. I think it's a great. We will be there.
Awesome.
T-Lat and I will come down for sure. And when you get the tubes in, we have a 12 and a 7. So the tubes would be perfect for them
Definitely.
because they don't want to paddle. I mean, it's
You don't want to paddle.
No.
You'll be in a tube.
It's just far enough that by the time you're done, you've done it. I mean, if it was only an hour, if you just went to Pebble Beach, you'd be like, that's it.
Yeah.
But it's definitely a great value. I mean, $25, you can entertain the kids all afternoon.
Yeah, they're right for a nap when you're over.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, it's good. So awesome. So the hours, and what's the latest somebody could rent a kayak or a boat? I mean,
I'd say 6:30.
okay. So
So
give them
that's
enough
why I
time to
say
get it
nine.
done. So that gives you guys time to collect all the boats and tubes and
Right.
all that stuff. Yep.
Jamie
Yeah.
Zeller says we're in.
Awesome.
That's our kayaking partners. We do stuff with Ben and Jamie, and it's a blast to go down there and do that.
I'll get you all some gift certificates and I'll come.
You got to
Cool.
see Judge Zeller, like he's in his robe with the epaulets, and
Oh, that's so
his
Well, but the epaulets when he's in the water, those are actually water wings.
and his real problem is he has a hard time paddling with his gavel. That's he's
Yeah, it doesn't
just-
quite work the way
yeah.
it should.
So
but-
Jamie does all the work.
I'll take lots of pictures.
Yes, it's fantastic experience.
I'm surprised that rope just doesn't drag him under, though. It's amazing.
Here's our gift to you and to Victoria. We appreciate you coming in. We want you to keep your business at the forefront of Victoria during the summer. Feel free to reach out anytime and come in and say, hey, here's what's going on. We would love to get some of your kayak stories where you know,
Thank you.
I mean, just where you come in and because we love to promote certain things. We're not a public service announcement organization, and I don't look at this as free advertising. We appreciate what you're doing. It's obviously a labor of love, and hopefully Victoria will support and allow you to make a buck doing it as well. There's nothing wrong with a little capitalism.
No, nothing at all.
And be that young, fresh voice that pushes for the park. I mean, we need more young people down there making things happen.
Thank you. Parks and Rec, they've been wonderful and I really appreciate it. We look forward to doing a lot of.
You've got a new director coming
I
in.
know, I'm excited. I can't wait to meet them.
Good group of folks down there. I work closely with them at the day job, and they've been great to work with. They really are.
I did a kayaking clinic with them last August and that was a lot of fun and they're going to do it again this year. So I recommend anyone who hasn't been on the river to definitely do that.
Awesome.
That one's a lot of fun. It's very affordable too. It's a great introduction into kayaking if you haven't done it.
Well, I'll tell you this: when we first went with Ben and Jamie, they had invited us to go, and when we left there, Dawn was like, "We need to get a couple kayaks." I mean, it is infectious because it's easy. You don't have to be any kind of expert boat. I mean, I'm certainly not. My kayak, Jerry gave me one that kind of had a hole in it, and by the time I got to the pump house, it was
Jerry
like
knew you.
It was like a submarine. I like the kayaks that you set on, not in. I like the little suspension seat. Well, my seat was at water level and my kayak was 80% underwater. I was a little heavier then.
I had a poor girl that happened to recently. Her boat filled up and 4 times she had to dump it. And
Ugh.
dropped in at nursery and then got out at the boat ramp. And that's about a 4 to 5 hour.
That's a long trek.
That's
kayak trek.
you better take some sunscreen and a lot
Oh,
of
yes,
water.
picnic.
A lot of water.
That's
Wow.
almost the Texas water safari. Right
But you
there.
know, every time that I'm on the loop and I'm going around like towards from the north to the west, and you cross the Guadalupe right there, every time I'm like, I'd love to go through there on a kayak. So you would go through there if you started in nursery,
That's right.
and you'd still have an hour and change to get down to the boat ramp from there.
Yes. Yep, probably about an hour and a half.
Is that your
Awesome.
expansion plans?
Well,
Shack and nursery for those who want the 4-hour tour?
Well, I saw that there's a Thomaston River Retreat opening
Okay.
up pretty soon, so we're going to collaborate and get something going from there.
See, that's brilliant.
Cool. Awesome.
And then nursery.
And that's
She's 2 steps ahead of us.
Just young, smart entrepreneurs making it happen.
Looking
By
at
the way,
opportunity and taking advantage of it.
you
That's
can
awesome.
do that.
It's a great thing
So-
about this country. Well,
Well,
Ashley, appreciate you stopping by.
thank you very
very much.
for coming by.
Good
And-
luck with everything, and hope
Come
everything goes
back.
well Monday.
Thank you. I'd love to come back. I appreciate you all.
Well, thank you. And you keep listening to the show because someday our audio will be better and people will say, "Good morning, Brent."
Oh, and I'm your 61st subscriber.
Thank
you.
I
Nice.
watched your video yesterday and I was like, I can't let that happen.
People
Appreciate
should
that.
go and
Yeah, don't
uh,
forget to subscribe,
on YouTube. It's free.
I'll make
Yeah.
sure to forward that on my website as well.
Thank
Awesome,
you very
thank you.
much. See, oh, you have a website
I
too.
have a website,
Tell us.
yes,
Tell us.
flowpaddle.co. That's real easy. Flowpaddle.co. You can check us out. You can book online. You can also call me.
Now, see, that's pertinent information, folks. If you want to plan ahead, like on a Saturday. Right now, she only has 21 kayaks. So, hey, I need 6 of them. Well, on Wednesday,
Yeah.
shoot her a quick, book it online.
Yep.
Flowpaddle.co.
Yes, sir.
Gonna get to a point where if you don't book by Monday, you're out of luck for the next Saturday. That'll be good.
That's
Nice
brilliant.
problem to have, right?
Yes, exactly.
We're excited for you. That's a great thing you're doing and a great service to Victoria.
FLOW or FLO? Which way did you spell flow?
We spelled it with a
Okay. Okay. So you spelled it correctly.
Yes. but
Didn't
we
get
did-
too cute.
But we didn't do the dot after the co either. So, we're playful with it.
There we go.
That's very cool.
Thank you.
Well, have a great day,
You too. Thank you so much for
and
having
we'll
me.
catch you next time. Okay?
Awesome.
Really, we'd love for you to come back. Just give us a message.
I'd love to.
Thanks
Great.
so much. You were
Thank
great.
you.
Bye.
We'll see you later.
Folks, we love that.
Yeah,
Small
that's
business
awesome.
thriving in Victoria, somebody who's willing to step out.
Adding to the quality of life in Victoria,
Take a
things to
chance.
do. For those who say there's nothing to do in Victoria, there
Putting
you
their
go.
money where their mouth is.
Awesome.
Getting busy. That's awesome. Thank you. So we will definitely be there. You can put us and the Zellers down here pretty quick.
There's my buddy Mike Moore checking in from Pittsburgh, Kansas. He's going to drop his kayak in the river up there and maybe make his way down here.
There you go. There's Mike Moore checking in. Hey, last break, Uncle Mutt's Barbecue. Today is a great day. By the way, Uncle Mutt's, much like Flow Paddle, open 7 days a week. Now, they ain't open from 9 to 9. They're open around 10:30-ish.
Yeah. Once you stop there, you're going to want to wait a half an hour before you go swimming.
Yeah, you might get a cramp. You could get a big cramp. Great thing about the Guadalupe is you can do whatever you need. Nobody's going to see anything. There you go. Take care.
Thank you all so much.
So, Uncle Mutt's, brisket, ribs,
Rib sausage,
chicken,
turkey, all the sides.
ribs.
Awesome.
You love the ribs.
Love the ribs.
They've got it all.
I think the best ribs. in
Potato
town, to be
salad,
honest.
pea salad, coleslaw. They've got it all.
Uncle Mutt's rice, fried sweet corn. How many sides?
Oh, there's like 16 of them. And remember this, folks. Now that you can kind of assemble again or have a family get together, it's okay to go ahead and order Uncle Mutt's Catering.
Yeah.
They'll
Forgot
come out
about
and do that for you. They'll do that easy. Don't forget about Gray Barn Design. In fact, think about Gray Barn Design. 920-6803.
If you have an event that you need to cater for, Gray Barn can help make that event memorable.
If you said, hey, I want to have a kind of a Western themed party, Cheryl will coordinate with Uncle Mutt's. You don't have to do it.
She can do that for you.
She cuts deals you can't cut. That's the beautiful thing. I need 100 votive candles. I got them. They're in a box. It's easy. Let her do the work and enjoy your
100.
party.
That's nothing.
I know. I know. So reach out to Cheryl, 920-6803. Just to brainstorm about your party. Won't cost you a dime.
Nope, she'll meet with you. She'll talk with you about your ideas, and then she'll present you with a vision that you'll absolutely love.
Yep. Same thing. You want a vision you'll love. How about a generator? Storm season starts today.
No,
No?
first,
The
Monday.
first, Monday. We've already got a second name storm, Bertha.
Made landfall, South Carolina.
There you go. But wind, self-contained generators, natural gas, propane, ready to go. They also have the solar panels, wind generators, wind solar panels coming into a battery backup, all by Generac, Wisconsin-based, made in the USA company. Definitely.
Test fire once a month to make sure they're still operating. It's the way to go. Folks.
It's the next iteration, the next level. It's solar 2.0.
Yeah.
That's where Wind's at, on the cutting edge, helping your family beat the grid.
Beat the grid, beat the hurricanes. Nothing worse. If you remember Harvey, those 7 to 10 days after when you didn't have power, and and by about the third day it got hot, and there was no AC.
Right?
Fridges were starting to thaw. You don't have to worry about any of that with a Generac generator from Wind.
There's Daniel Wade White. I mean, his parents named him after you. Daniel Wade.
That's
White.
Dr. Jazz Hands.
Why not Daniel Brent White?
I don't know.
DB White. There's a
I
nice
don't
ring
know.
to it. Nobody did that.
Probably because everyone was afraid of DB Cooper at the time.
All right. Bob Constantine checks in. You know, most folks don't know who DB Cooper was. That
No.
was like 1973.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Did he survive? Did he?
Nobody knows. Nobody knows.
A guy who supposedly jumped out of the back of a jet.
737?
Yeah,
Piloted by John Travolta. 747.
something like that. He
Yeah.
jumped out of the back with a bag full of money. They found some of the money, like in, where was it? Alaska, Oregon.
Somewhere around there. Which I've never understood. How do you jump out the back and not decompress the cabin and make the plane crash?
It might have been low, maybe when it was about to land,
Maybe.
low altitude.
There's no place to land where they found that money, except in the mountains.
Yeah, I don't know how he did that.
I don't either.
Might have had some help.
Don't think he did.
You know,
I don't think he survived it. Although you look at all the sketches of the guy, you would think with a bunch of people who knew who he was, all the sketches of him are kind of like the Alien sketches.
right?
He had an angular face, bigger eyes, sunglasses. He
He
looked
was
like
a quiet man.
he looked like Secret Service agents, like the guys in the movie Men in Black, right?
Right.
It's kind of how it looked, a little bit like Tommy Lee Jones.
He was a quiet man.
Didn't say much. And then he absconded with millions of dollars.
Beautiful stuff. I don't even think it was millions, was it? I mean, it was a big deal at the time.
Yeah.
$180.
Yeah. Now, with inflation.
Now, if you don't have $1 trillion, you're nobody.
No, he's probably working it. He's probably greeting people at Walmart, walking to Walmart. DB Cooper, my money ran out.
Here's $1.
Steve Kidder says he's hanging out with Kato Kalin.
Right? In the back room behind OJ's house.
Yeah.
What else you got? We only have a couple
Well, a
minutes.
few more people on the unemployment roll. I think we're up to what, 40, north of 40 million now?
You would think we'd have more listeners,
Yeah, you would think.
you know? How many views did we get on our little video yesterday?
I don't know what the final total was.
I don't either. Pushing 1,000.
Oh, man. So 40 million people in this country are without jobs. That is more than the entire population of Canada, folks.
More than the population of the state of Texas.
That's like Texas. And I'm trying to think, we're plus 5 million.
New Mexico.
Yeah, I don't think New Mexico has 5 million people in it.
New Mexico and Arizona.
Probably New Mexico, probably Arizona, because I think there's what, 2 or 3 are in the Phoenix area.
There you go. There's nothing else in Arizona.
No, Tucson and
That's it.
Flagstaff, Prescott. That's
Bunch of
about
red
it.
dirt. What
But then-
about
just trying to put that in perspective? Were you telling me yesterday we cut a little flat because we mentioned that 40% of the COVID deaths have been in nursing homes?
Yeah, there was a little feedback that, hey, you guys you're minimizing this or whatever the thing was. It's like, no, we're not. It's just it's the circle of life. I mean,
Well, and it's not even that, but it shows you how wrong we got it. And what I was trying to point out was, had we treated this more like a flu and protected the vulnerable and those most at risk with compromised immune systems and susceptible to viruses of any type, our numbers would have been way down.
oh yeah,
Instead, I mean, I'm not going to say 40% less because you could probably cut that number in half of the 40% of our fatalities that have been in the nursing homes.
right.
You probably could have cut that number in half.
I heard a pundit the other day.
But when
saying-
you've got a governor telling people they got to go in there.
yeah, that's Cuomo. He's definitely shot himself in the foot.
Yeah.
But when you hear a pundit say the reason that we are here is because America demanded, Congress demanded action by the president based on a flawed model by a British predictor,
Who's
which,
been
by the
wrong
way, Ash talked about
from the
that
get-go.
when it came out. When the deal came out, 2 million people are going to die in the United States. Ash said, all I'm telling you is this guy was wrong about this. He was wrong about that. And at the time, you had specifics. And sure enough, the guy's wrong. 100,000 people have died. That's tragic. That's tragic for them and their families.
That's Victoria County, putting it in perspective. And I'm not minimizing that
In the
at all.
whole country, it's as if Victoria County's gone. It ain't changing anybody's economy. Sorry.
But for people to think that Donald Trump could have prevented
That's just
100,000 deaths?
Partisan politics.
There's no leader anywhere could have prevented the COVID deaths.
What percentage do you think would you think that Texas unemployment percentage-wise is higher or lower than the national? I would think lower. We have our seasonal oil field offrages right now, but Most people
No, I think
are working.
I think Texas as a whole is up double digits now, 12 and a half. So
Is
probably
it?
right in line with the national average. The national average might be a little higher,
Mm.
but
Mm.
we're probably pretty close.
We could get the hair
It's not
salon
good.
people back to work. The
Yeah.
gym managers.
NHL would go back. I'd keep the people working.
Right? Plug in or find another power source.
Yeah, well, that's our sign, folks. We got to get out of here.
Top of the hour,
Appreciate y'all tuning in today.
9:30 in
You
Newfoundland.
might not have appreciated tuning in today.
Right. We do appreciate you guys every day, and I hope you have a great and safe weekend. Watch the roads, watch the waterways. If you get in trouble, dial 578-6300. Allen's Wrecker Service is there to serve. We love you.
If it's life threatening, call 911.
We do appreciate you, and don't get